Harry's wife, you will be questioned. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Before I get into the meat of this particular video's topic, it's worth reminding you that the purpose of this channel is to explain narcissism. I do so in a way which enables you to understand it more readily and apply it perhaps to your own experiences. It's not delivered in an esoteric way, using scientific terminology, which only causes people to think, what does that actually mean? I utilize, of course, my own lexicon, which may take a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, makes perfect sense and has helped millions of people understand their situations with precision, enabling them to feel better about what has happened to them by being able to make sense of it, and then making informed decisions to protect themselves thereafter. I cover so many different aspects of narcissism, given my own extensive experience as a narcissistic psychopath and my interactions with my kind in a variety of spheres. What I do is I cover narcissism, the way that we see the world, my kind, the way that we impact upon our victims, the way that we see our victims, the aspects of the various dynamics that exist, the ways that you can protect yourself, what we like, what we don't like. I identify those of our kind in the world out there, ranging from the famous to the infamous, whether it's somebody who's been recently convicted of a series of offences, or somebody famous who has got up to mischief at the Oscars or the Grammys. All of it is good stuff for enabling you to understand more about narcissism. As you know, I provide many videos about Harry's wife. She's so prominent, and many people want to listen to work about her, and therefore it behooves me to deliver this material, both in terms of entertaining people, because she's quite a figure of derision these days, but also, each and every time, there is something to be learned about her narcissism. It's important to understand that this channel isn't about breaking news in relation to unearthing some gossip about her. I leave that for others. I am party to lots of information about various people, but I don't disclose it because to do so would compromise what I do professionally. And therefore what I invariably do is rely upon the information that is provided by others. Whether it appears in the mainstream news, say the BBC or Sky News, whether it's something that has been bandied around on a Reddit thread, whether it's some information that has come from a YouTube video that somebody's passed to me. My role is not an investigative one. I don't have the time to do that, and as mentioned, I'm not going to compromise my situation by giving away information in that regard. Instead, I harness the information that's provided by other people and then explain what that means within the context of narcissism. That is what this channel does. It uses the information and explains what's going on vis-a-vis narcissism to enable you to make sense of what is actually happening. I think it's important that people understand that. Often people ask in the comments, and I appreciate people's interest in that regard, for me to look into certain factors. I'm not going to do the investigative work. What I would do is, of course, comment on a scenario should the evidence be provided. With that stated, what's going on in terms of Harry's wife being questioned? Well, according to the article that appears in the BBC, Harry and Harry's wife to be questioned in Samantha Markle defamation case. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be questioned as part of a US defamation case brought by Harry's wife's half-sister. Samantha Markle is suing Harry's wife for defamation and injurious falsehoods following the couple's interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021. She alleges she was defamed when Harry's wife falsely and maliciously said she was an only child. A motion brought by Harry's wife to stop depositions in the civil case from taking place was dismissed by a judge. This is not good news for Harry's wife. Why? Well, first of all, her attempt to nullify the threat to control posed by the demand that she be deposed failed. Therefore, that nullification of control fell by the wayside. That means that her narcissism didn't do its job. Of course, what will happen is it will then nullify the threat in an alternative way by blame shifting. So, for instance, the judge is an idiot. The judge is biased. It's never Harry's wife's fault for bringing an ill-conceived application. Or, I was badly advised by my attorney. And therefore she will complain about the judge or the attorney or just the circumstances, probably to Harry or somebody who is in the coterie, and they will agree. And therefore that will afford her an indirect assertion of control. The failure of the application or motion to prevent the depositions will have wounded her. It's not the most severe wounding, but it certainly wouldn't be pleasant, and it will infuriate her, possibly leading to the breaking of crockery in a Monty Shitshow household. Furthermore, it creates a collateral consequence, which means that she's going to be deposed, which would be rather entertaining, and it would be fascinating to watch her deposition video and analyse it if it ever came to light. I have advised many of my clients on the content of deposition videos where they've wanted to understand more about what's happening and to understand more in terms of tactics whereby they can utilise certain pressure points against the narcissist. Of course, ordinarily, one stays away from the narcissist, but where you've got ongoing litigation, you're going to have some involvement, and therefore I am brought in to advise with regard to points that can be made to cause the narcissist, in effect, to be challenged and to lose their shit, thus increasing your prospects of success. So far, Samantha Markle hasn't contacted me. The fact is, the deposition that's going to come forth for her is going to be problematic because it will be viewed by her narcissism as another threat to control, that she's being forced to explain herself. And her narcissism takes the view that she's not there to explain herself to anybody. She is the doer, not the done to. She tells you how it is. She is not told. She's the one that asks the questions. She is not there to be questioned, but questioned she will be. Furthermore, there was an attempt to halt discovery, and that's also failed. And therefore, there's been a double whammy of wounding failure as a consequence of the motions brought by Harry's wife to prevent the depositions and the discovery having failed. Furthermore, there's the collateral consequence of her having to comply with these orders rather than making the whole thing go away. It wouldn't be a surprise if there might be an attempt, if she's able to do so, to appeal the decisions that have been made, but I suspect that will get her nowhere. Might this cause her to look at trying to compromise the matter? Quite possibly, purely because it might suit her purposes to avoid having to provide discovery and depositions, and that she might want to pay off to make it go away. Of course, remember, as a narcissist, making such a payment will also feel like a threat to control, and it would only be in circumstances where her narcissism recognises, and this doesn't always happen, but where her narcissism actually recognises, look, there's going to be far more damage created if you let this continue. Better that you take the hit now. The problem with that is, as you know, with lesser and mid-range narcissists, and Harry's wife is a middle-mid-range narcissist, is that their focus on the moment means they're not thinking ahead. It would only be if she received forceful advice from an attorney who explained to her, look, you're going to lose and you're going to lose heavily, or these disclosures are going to make you look bad. Just make this go away. Swallow your pride. She certainly will not like it, but where there's circumstances where she is being strongly advised, what she can then do is say, I had no choice. My lawyer told me I had to do it, and therefore plays the innocent victim to those that will listen, to suggest that she had to do it, that the attorney advised her. She didn't want to choose to do this. She didn't want to give a penny to her grasping half-sister. But under advice, she did so, and thus she can blame shift and basically say, I didn't compromise it, my lawyers told me that I had to, which in the mind of the narcissist allows her to maintain control, blame shifts in effect onto the lawyers, and also, of course, onto her sister by maintaining that she's greedy and unpleasant, and therefore enables the fiction in the world of the narcissist that she still has control. The rest of the article explains, in the much-anticipated interview with Winfrey, the couple discussed their families, royal life and mental health. The Duchess's half-sister claimed in a filing submitted in March that Harry's wife made demonstrably false and malicious statements to a worldwide audience. Documents obtained by PA News Agency show the original motion. They show Samantha Markle, who has MS and uses a wheelchair, brought the action, saying around 50 million people in 17 countries had watched the Winfrey interview. The motion says that it disseminated false and malicious lies and had subjected Samantha Markle to humiliation, shame, and hatred on a worldwide scale. Not good news at all for Harry's wife, good news for Samantha Markle. It causes wounding for Harry's wife and also creates a further problem for her. It will be very interesting to find out what comes out of the depositions and the discovery if that information is leaked. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.